I was diagnosed with retinoblastoma when I was 15 months old, and I think it was a massive shock to the family. No one really knew about retinoblastoma back in the 70s, and I think initially my mum had spotted something wrong with my eyes and taken me to the local doctors. They didn't really know what it was. They took me somewhere else. They didn't know what it was, and eventually it was diagnosed at Harley Street, and it was a bit of an emergency situation at that point. So they had to remove one of my eyes pretty much straight away, and then the other eye was treated with radiotherapy. They did want to remove both my eyes, but my granddad begged for them to sort of keep one so that at least I would have some vision, in my life. But obviously as I got older, my sight gradually got worse and worse because of the treatment that I'd had, and eventually I ended up with nothing at all, but that's the way it is. I had the hereditary form of retinoblastoma, which basically meant we knew we had a 50% chance of passing that on to our offspring, and unfortunately my son was diagnosed with it at 5 weeks. Thankfully that was early enough that we could actually sort of treat him without him having some of the more severe treatments like chemotherapy or radiotherapy. So he was treated with laser therapy, which didn't do too much damage to his eyes. So we're very fortunate that he's actually got normal vision in both his eyes now, even though he's got the same condition as me. But he will at some point in the future have to make that decision himself when he has children about whether he's going to pass on that gene or not. And it's a difficult choice to make, I think. And I think for a long time I was kind of umming and ahhing whether I would have children or whether I wanted children. I think it was just knowing that there was someone there that we could speak to, and I think it's more the support network that you get around that in terms of the other parents and finding out what they went through. And so you've got a whole pool of people that you can share knowledge with, talk about your experiences. I think that's more important than just what kind of happens on a practical element in the hospital. So also it's massively important to have a hospital near us as well. So when I was a kid, my mum had to take me down to London and to Bartholomew's to have all my treatment and stuff like that. But now we've got a unit at the Birmingham Children's Hospital, so that's made life so much easier for us, because obviously we live locally, and that's sort of 10-15 minutes from my house, which makes it so much easier for us.